So, hi everybody, welcome for this session around tools to edit and retrieve data from Wikidata. I'm Nicolas Vigneron, user Vigneron on Wikidata and many other Wikimedia projects. I'm a long-time editor on both Wikipedia, Wikisource, and Wikidata for 17 years now on Wikidata, on Wikipedia, and 10 years. I'm not even sure on Wikidata since the beginning. And I did a lot of edits, both by hands and with some very useful tool to make it more efficient and quick. So today I will present one of them, which is QuickStatements. And that's it. If you want to say a few words about what you expect and what you want to learn today, maybe that's the moment to wait for other people to arrive. Yamen, for instance, what do you expect today?
So first of all, thank you very much, Nicola, for accepting to animate this session. So during this session, I think we would like to see how to update items on Wikidata, how to create a new item using quick statement, and to maybe to add more difficulties to the quick statement, how to update a reference for a statement. For example, when we have World Heritage Sites, we have start date and date. How we can update these to because they are not. So maybe it's more difficult, this one.
Yeah, but I'll do it.
And what else? Maybe also what's the difference between quick statement 1 and quick statement 2?
Yeah.
So should we use the 2 or should we use 1 or both? We can use both of them.
Yes, absolutely. That was planned. Maybe Adele, Nassima, or Andrew, you want to say a few words? Or you can just ask questions during the session if you want, or use the chat, whatever. So I'll start with a broad overview, if there's no question. No. Because there's quick statement 1 and 2, but there's a lot of other tools to edit Wikidata item. So you have a page on Wikidata, which is called Wikidata Tools. The main page is Tools here, in English, sorry. And you have a lot of tools existing around Wikidata, like really a lot of tools. So for each need you have, you may have a specific tools that exist. For editing items, again in English, sorry, there's a lot of small specific tool to do small little things around label, to disambiguate author, and things like that. And if you want to do mass import, mass update, mass removal, sometime of statement and Wikidata, you have two main tools who are called Quick Statement and Open Refine. That's these two. Open Refine is the one I use more and more nowadays. It's more powerful and can do more things, but it's much more complicated to use at first. And it's not possible to do everything with Open Refine. So the other main tool to mass edit Wikidata is Quick Statements. It's an older one, older tool, Quick Statement, but still work very well to import. This tool can add or remove statements with optional qualifier and references.
Sorry, Nico, are you sharing your screen?
I guess I am. I'm not. Sorry. No. Minute. Sorry. Oh, I'm bad at this. Can I? Is it good now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So as I said, I'm on the page Wikidata Tools Edit Item, where there's a lot of small tools that can be useful for other purposes. I won't explain them today, but it's good to know they exist. And if you go down, as I said, there's OpenRefine and QuickStatements. Today we will talk about QuickStatements. So you have a documentation about QuickStatement that is quite good and give everything you need to know. It exists in many languages if you want. I will do it in English today, but you can read it in other languages. So yes, QuickStatement is a tool to, as it's written, edit Wikidata item. It has a very specific syntax that I will explain today, which is not always easy to start with, but you can go, if you know already Wikidata, how data are structured into Wikidata, if you know how to do Sparkle query, things like that, you shouldn't be too confused, I guess. But if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. Yes, let's dive in. So as you mentioned, there's several versions of the tool. There's the old version, version 1. There's the first version 2, the current version 2. I think version 1 does not work at all anymore. Yeah, it's not available at all, so no problem. So I advise to use the new version, which is pretty much the same, but with a better interface and nicer thing. And again, you can change language as always. So yes, it's an online tool. You have nothing to upload on it's not a software on your computer, it's everything online. So it works in Windows, Ubuntu, Mac, whatever. There's no problem with that. That's a good thing. And I guess we can dive in the command sequence syntax. So you know that in Wikidata there's items and properties and other type of entity, but mainly items and property. We have all specific ID like Q411 whatever, or P31 or things like that. And you need, when you work with QuickStatement, to already know this identifier and put them in a specific format. For instance, a simple example here is, to this item, you add this statement with this value, which means to the Wikidata sandbox add instance of universe. It's a simple example. You have more specific things if you want to add specific value like text or time or coordinate or quantity, and you have all the syntax which is explained here. You can also partly, not totally, but work on lexeme if you want. Lexemes, won't explain that more today, but it's also possible. And yes, that's it for the first part, and I will do a demonstration. It will be much clearer, I guess. And this is what we call the V1 syntax, because it's existed in the first version, and it still works the same syntax in the second version. And there's more explanation, and there's a second type of syntax which we call CSV file syntax, where we use different syntax when we want to import. And in this case, you still need to know the QID and the PID of property and everything, but you don't put it at the same place. I'll explain that. I see there's discussion. Thanks for the link on the discussion. So yeah, you have two syntax, but they are more or less the same. And in after the basic commands like this one to add a direct property, you have more detailed command for adding qualifier or references. And basically you add more column with the reference you want to add or the qualifier. It's more or less the same. The thing is, when you use a property for adding references, you replace the P as the first letter with a S, like sources. And you can add several one after the other for the same statements. Yada, yada, yada. Some examples, always useful. Yes, and another type of thing you can do with quick statements is to create totally new items, because all I explained before was to add statements to existing item. But if you do the same thing with the word create before, it will just create a new item. And then you don't have a QID because it doesn't exist when you write it. So you use the keyword last. You can merge some item if you need to. That's very rare, but that can be done. And finally, if you want to remove something that is wrong, that for instance, someone used a robot or something and did a mistake, and a lot of time the same mistake, you can remove it with the same kind of syntax, but with a minus at the beginning. It will allow to remove it. And that also means if you want to replace a value, you have to do it in 2 steps, remove the old value and adding the new one afterward. There's not a specific syntax for replace this by that. You need to remove everything and re-put it again, which is a bit strange, but hey, that's just a 2-step process. That's not too complicated. And yes, I need to explain this one, label alias description and site links, because I give example to add a specific value inside Wikidata. If I open an item, just to be sure you know how Wikidata work. What I explain is for this part, statements, but you can also edit this part at the top of Wikidata item. For instance, adding a description for church in Tunisia. If you have a Sparkle query where you get the list of all church in Tunisia without description, you can get this list, put it in a Excel or Calc table, and add the same description everywhere, for instance. Just a quick example of things I do quite often, actually. And for adding, you just need to use this little code, which is L for label, and then the code language. So this LPL is for label in Polish. If it's LFR, it will be for label in French, LEN for in English, DE for Dutch, German, and AR for Arabic, whatever. And if you replace the L with a D, it will do the same thing for description. So basically that's it. I won't go much further because it's all right here in this page. Just checking I don't forget important things. No, I think I did a quick overview, and now what I suggest is to do it directly in the website. So as I said on the top here, you have a link to QuickStatements, and the URL is QuickStatement Toolforge. Oh, I see there's a question in the chat, sorry. Question for merge, which one will be merged, the first one or the second? Source will be merged into destination, right? Yes, just checking to be sure not saying mistakes, but I think that's how it works. Yeah, the first item will be merged and redirected into the second. So you need to make sure you put the right number in the right order. That's it. But be careful when you merge, and in general, when you use mass edit tools, to be sure you know what you are doing before doing it, because if you are doing like 1,000 or 100 or 1,000 or 100 of 1,000 edits, be very, very sure to do the right thing, before you launch it, because it can be quite painful to revert it afterwards. So yeah, it's important to be careful. That's it. So when you are in this interface, you can, as I said, choose your language, and then the first thing to do is to log in, and it will use your Wikimedia account, and we redirect you to the quick statement tool, and you see now, oh, I'm connected, and I can see the last thing I did. Actually, I did things. Oh, that was quite a long time ago. And I have some information about myself and what I did recently if I want to. And you have several buttons, but the main one, which is here and here, it's the same, is new batch. It's basically how you can start to do a new import. You type here in this column, you can copy paste what you want to import. And as I said, there's two syntax, the V1 command and the CSV. I will show them both actually. So for instance, Yamen sent me this file, which is already pre-formatted. When you use quick statements, you have a lot of work to do before. Like in this instance, you need to find the QID of all items you want to edit, the right property and the right ID for the value you want to put. So this says on this item Q, etc. I will add this property with this value. And actually, I will do it in 2 times to show you both syntax. So I will do the first one to start with. I will take this, copy, here, paste, import command, V1 commands. You have the tools itself recognize what you are doing. So it's will put you the names and everything, and you can check again before sending it. Oh, is it really what I want to do? Yes, 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 all good. And if everything is correct, you can hit the button run, and ta-da, it's doing it for you. So here it's a quick and simple example for just 4 items. You could have done it by hand, but you can imagine if you have 100 items you want to change, then you need to do it. That's where the tool is useful. You can check here on this item if I can go in the history that I did to import. Yes, there was 2 lines for the same. That's good. And you see that he did 2 lines for each line here to import exactly what I said. For instance, it's again in French. Everything is in French, sorry. English will be easier for you. So yes, World Heritage criteria, World Heritage section criterion 2. And if I go in the regular, and I go down here, you see that you have the right thing you wanted. So that's how you did it for the, I did it in first syntax. Here, everything was correct, so everything is green here. But sometimes you may have mistakes or problem, and there will be some red part. And if you click it or error, you can see just the error. Here, there's no error, so there's nothing to show, but you can select to see just the error. Or here, I just have 4 lines, but if I want to see more at the same time, I can have a bigger screen and go to different pages. That's it, and I do new batch for the same thing, but with the second syntax. And the second syntax is a bit, how to say it, a bit more compact to write, because instead of saying for each line here, there's a column with a property in between the two, but since it's always the same, in the other syntax, you can just put it here as the title of the column. The thing is, you need to put comma between these two columns. So you have to work what is called the CSV format. And I will do it in a new file to show you like that. When you are in Excel, you need to have only that. It's not possible to do a copy paste like I did just before. And you need to do save as CSV. I don't know if you see my screen still, the little column, but CSV text. Save as CSV, yes. Comma separated, yes. And then I have somewhere on my screen, it should be, no, it's not here. Where is it? Where did he save it? Save it in documents. So I will open documents. Documents. I have way too many documents. And it should be, oh, is it called? No name. That's this one. And open with Notepad, for instance. And you see that here you have a comma separating the two columns. And this is what I need to paste for the second syntax. And I can click on import. Actually, I will do a mistake somewhere, yeah, like that, to show you what happened when you do mistake, because sometimes mistakes happen. So if I do this import CSV command, it will say, oh, that's not good, no valid command found. If you have this error message, it probably means that you are missing the comma, or sometimes you have put semicolons like this, and I think it doesn't, no, it don't like it. So you need to be specifically separated by comma, simple comma. Import CSV command, and here it works. And you have the same result here. It's just two different syntax, and you can hit run in the same way. Here you have import done. Yeah. So that's for the basics. Actually, we had one other example I can show you to show how, oh, sorry, too many tabs here. Here we have another example, and we have a source. So I can put it as a source here, and I need to find the identifier, which I forgot is URL for reference in English. I will just put URL, reference URL, P84. And since, if I do that, I will do that to show you, actually. It will be understood as a qualifier and not a reference. So be careful not to mix the two of them. I'm not sure if for everybody qualifier and references is, the difference is clear. If it's not, please state in the chat. But you see here that it will put under, actually there's type unknown here, that's not good, or whatever. But qualifier, it's written here. And what I want here, is the references, is where I found the information. So it's not P, it's S, as I said just before. And I can do it directly here. There's just one line. And again, I'm just doing one line here, but if I want to put 100 line, 1000 line, it works also. Type unknown is strange. We'll try to see if it works or not. Seems to work. First works, second. The second one doesn't work for some reason. Or does it? You can check. Heritage designation is added, but no reference. And as you say, there's a constraint saying, oh, you should have at least one reference. That's strange. Yeah, the second one didn't go for some reason. And in that case, when you have an error, you can look for the documentation to see, for instance, URL. How are they supposed to strings, including URL? Oh, you need to put, of course you do. You need to put a little quotes on both sides. I will do it again. I'm a bit stupid. So quote, simple quote. Oh, I'll do it afterwards. This one should work. Yes. And here you see there's not the unknown type that I had just before. So yeah, it should work. Yes, it works. So yeah, there's a lot of little tricks in the syntax you need to, even if you know a little bit, like me, you see that I have forgot some stupid little details. So you can go back always to the syntax to be sure how you do it. And if you look at this, did it work? Yes. And you see that it was quite smart because this line, I re-put it a second time and I was, but I don't want to have in this item 2 times the same, one with reference, the other without. And the tool was smart enough to not re-put tentative word heritage twice, but to put the reference to the existing statements. So that's a smart tool. And can we add the start date for the heritage designation? Yes, we can, absolutely. In qualifier, you mean, I guess? And do we have this? I'm stupid, there's the date here, I guess. 15 April 2021, I guess that's update. I'm not sure if that's exactly what I want. So P for start date, P5 something start time, exactly. So I can put it here, add a new column, insert before, and insert before again. Here, as always, I put the property with a P because it's a qualifier this time. And if I want to put the date, you see that the time has to be under this strange format, which is the ISO, I don't remember which one, but this format. So for instance, for 2021, April the 4th, and it was the, I forgot, where did I put it? +15th of April? Yes, 15th of April. So plus 2021 0415, and then a bunch of zeros and things that doesn't matter at all. So I can just copy paste this one. And the last part is for the precision. So here we know that we have a specific day, so it's 11. T like that. New batch, yes.
So,
like
2021, not 2020.
Oh, yes. Sorry. And is it the specific day or the year? I will put the year. So I will put 1st of January. There's no problem here. But here I will put 9 to be sure it's not to make mistake. You will correct that later if you want. Import v1 command, and you see you have 3 lines: statements, qualifier, sources. Everything is put correctly at the right place. Oh, there's an error for some reason. That's a good thing because now you see how error works. Why is there an error here? Errors are not always very explicit, but sometimes if you hover here, invalid snake data. What did I do? Oh, I forgot the quote here. So that was a mistake for sure. 2021. No dot dash 9 plus. I put the plus. Oh, I forgot the plus. That was where I did a mistake. So rerun again. Yes, yes. And reference around probably because, yeah, if you go over the cursor over the error, it says, oh, the statement already has this reference, so I will not add it again. So that's actually not an error. That's a good thing not to add. But just to be sure, they did that, yeah, on the same one. He was smart enough not to add a new one. So maybe that was a bit quick, but I hope you have an overview on how you can use QuickStatements. If you have some use case or other question, feel free to ask it. Otherwise, I can create, obviously, create a new item. So create a new item is not complicated because actually you can do exactly the same thing. For instance, if you have another item with also on tentative list, you can do the same thing. You just need to put create before, and here instead of a number you put last. But if I do that, which is not a good example, but for the demonstration you can do new item
We
like
have
that.
we have an example. We can use the.
You have one?
Yes, it's in the same spreadsheet actually, but I will post it in the chat. And,
oh, I didn't see that there was another one. So yeah, exactly what I said, create, and then the first row is always last because it was the last known. On create, you can add label D. I think it should be always an uppercase D to be sure not to have a mistake. El Makta, seed prehistoric in Tunisia, that's good. Yes, that seems to be good. We can try that one. It's a bit small when you create. It's better to have more information, but for instance, I don't know, coordinate or whatever, but that's good for the demonstration today. Is there something easy I can see to add? No, but you can do import. And you see that here there's only one line because it will create everything, and you can do run in the same fashion that before. And hey, it's done, it's created. And here it is, El Makta, everything at the right place, at the right. And you could have put same as before. Yeah, if you have for this one, for instance, the date of creation, and you can put plus 21 or yada yada yada, what I said before, just like we did there. That's it, and now it's created. You can reuse it if you want to do some precision. You can reuse this item and do other batches one after the other. You are very quiet today, so I'm not sure if you are lost or if you are following. Just say in the chat if it's good or not, if I can go further or not. Too quick. I'm sorry. Is there a specific part where you want to explain? Or I can explain in French. It would be easier for you, maybe. Just tell me.
Yes, Adli, si tu as une question, même en français, tu peux la poser.
Oui.
Je n'ai pas pu suivre les étapes, c'est-à-dire les exemples, il écrit, il est directement, il applique. Donc, même pas vu, pas suivre même pas le syntaxe.
Pour la création, par exemple, est-ce que c'est clair pour la création?
Non, c'est clair, mais en même temps, j'ai ouvert le QuickStatements voilà, au micro. Donc, je ne peux pas suivre, c'est ça, c'est trop rapide.
Ouais.
C'est enregistré.
C'est-à-dire entre l'étape de l'écriture et l'application. Donc, généralement, j'aimerais bien de voir l'écriture, le syntaxe.
Oui. Donc, oui, comme disait Yamen, c'est enregistré. Donc, faut pratiquer et faire plusieurs fois avant de bien maîtriser l'outil. Hein. De toute façon, c'est normal, comme n'importe quel outil. Et du coup, la syntaxe, en gros, elle va toujours par paire de 3 choses. Un élément sur lequel on va ajouter une propriété avec une autre valeur. Ça, c'est la syntaxe de base. Du coup, sur un tableau Excel, c'est toujours voilà, les 3 colonnes comme ça. Hop là. Donc, par exemple, si... alors, du coup, il faut connaître l'élément, mais si, par exemple, on veut ajouter, par exemple, Tunisie, il faut trouver cet élément-là. Et on a, du coup, l'identifiant. Et on peut dire, par exemple, Q948. Donc, je vais faire un nouveau tableau ici. Et donc, je copie ça. Et puis, je veux ajouter... bon, je dis n'importe quoi, c'est pour la démonstration. Mais la propriété P31 pour dire que c'est un être humain, par exemple. Bon, c'est un exemple, mais... et si je veux, je peux ajouter d'autres informations. Je peux aussi dire que c'est autre chose avec un autre élément. Je peux travailler sur d'autres éléments. Je peux mettre des Q600, machin, Q42. Et par contre, oui, avant d'importer dans QuickStatements, il faut avoir ce tableur avec, où il faut créer les données à importer. Il y a un gros travail en amont à faire. Mais ça, c'est pas dans QuickStatements. C'est vraiment dans le tableur. J'espère que c'est un peu plus clair.
Oui.
Oui.
Oui, c'est un peu clair. Oui.
Bon.
Donc,
un micro coupe
est-ce
un peu.
qu'il y a des exemples à la fin de la séance ou bien on va continuer?
Oui, bon, on va voir. So, Yamen asked me to